Now we are going to kind of like this session is or this panel discussion is on innovation, how innovation can drive the growth of small and medium sector enterprises. My first request is to them is like how they have leveraged innovation in kind of like forming their company and how it helped them to kind of like reach a different platform, like rather than doing the routine things, kind of like what is the innovation that happened in their company and what was the forces behind that, and how that placed their company at a different level compared to the traditional ones. Maybe I will start with Mr. Santhosh.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I started Bambaram. Bambaram is actually a toys and games library for children. And so the idea behind starting why I wanted to innovate in that particular space is I was very passionate about education, and I was looking at options on how to make things fun when it comes to learning. And I was volunteering for a couple of organizations and found kids are obviously they were very passionate about playing and it comes natural to them. So I started doing my research with parents, schooling, principals, headmistress, and found that this space is something where a lot of innovations, a lot of improvements can happen. So that's how Bambaram happened. There are lots of, I wouldn't say it's a major innovation, but that's a lot of smaller innovations which happened in Bambaram, which I can probably talk about at a later point of time. And so the idea behind starting Bambaram was also to design our own toys, because I found there are not many toys which are purely educational in nature and having Indian context in mind. So, I floated another organization called Kale Planet Foundation, which is basically to design toys and games to teach life skills to children. So one of the thing which we started, the first game called King's Skin, which is basically about finding the next king in a fictional island called Coco Island, and which is basically to teach about stereotyping which happens in professions. For example, if I mention electrician, the first thing which most of you would probably think about is a male electrician. It doesn't, even though there is nothing stops from female to pursue a electrician job. So that's something which we want to break, especially when we start interacting with government and corporation school. That was something which got ingrained in their mind. So that's something which we wanted to break. So that's the purpose of the game. So we are working on more games, and we are working with television channels to produce games, reality games, which has some social component in nature.
Coming back to like today, like during this discussion, we are going to talk too many times innovation. So let us clarify like what is the thin line that separates invention and innovation. Invention is something called like the mother of all innovations. For example, when Graham Bell came out with the telephone, we would qualify it as an invention, but when Steve Jobs came out with the iPhone, it is an innovation. So when invention happens, a new product comes into existence, and when innovation happens, existing things are put together in a seamless manner and integrated to deliver a new experience. So here when we talk about innovation, we are talking about not creating new things, but it's creating a new experience, and freshly would be very well qualifying into the innovation space. Please, sir.
So freshly is as Venkadesh was telling, right? So it's a repackage of existing technologies to create a fantastic business model, to create a fantastic convenience for customers, right, or consumers. We are a platform for multiple people to come on board and sell food through, right? So we are a platform for multiple restaurants to come on board and sell, except for the actual retailing happens in a fully automated outlet, right? So I was just telling the team here, as a consumer, you just walk up, it looks like a food kiosk, like a small cafe coffee day kiosk or a Costa coffee kiosk, but you'll see order display, I mean the menu display, TVs up on the top, displaying different products from the likes of Saranabhavan, Paradise, and Anjapur and whatnot. And the same menu is displayed on an order tablet. You press a button, and the system automatically goes, takes the product, reheats it for you, and puts it out in all under 90 seconds, right? So this is a fantastic convenience when you're in a hurry. Where we have leveraged innovation here is we are the first in the world to do this, which actually makes me in demand for, by other countries as well. So we are actually expanding into Singapore now. We will be expanding into Malaysia and then Middle East sometime this year. We have 16 to 17 outlets. The reason is 17th one is being set up in a railway station as well.
I request to add Mr. Mohan, that is like how disruptive forces are acting on the small businesses, and what is its like effect?
See, the innovation, as rightly said, it is not about only creating a new product, and it can be anything which can change your business model to make it more productive, more profitable, and less cost and whatnot. It's only the concept, idea, how it can be increase your business model more efficiently. That is where now what is happening in the most of the micro industries is there's a mind block which is happening in the most of the small industries. One, even though there are many innovations happening in the industry itself, in their own premises, they are not able to share it with others, thinking that the other fellow will make use of it and he will make more money. No, not that. Once you know this concept is working, you make it as a business model and try to make as a business model and sell it across. So that way you will get a new business itself. That is how you have to think. Otherwise, if you are going to keep it yourself, it is not going to help, and you definitely somebody else will have the same idea or better idea before you make use of that. So here, what I have observed in the most of the small and micro industries, they are not adopting the innovative process which is happening outside. There is nothing wrong in you can copy it, what is available outside, and change your process or change your productive system, so that thereby you become more efficient and less competitive. With the competition what is happening in the outside, you will be able to still compete with that. That is what is required of micro industries today.
Thank you, sir. So I would request Mr. Vishnu to add a few words on how to make our organization future ready, or how to build innovation teams within the organization.
Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, on all the people in the panel. We had decided that we need to have some kind of a platform where the SME companies, which has been basically been the backbone, the pillar of the anti-manufacturing, the services, and of course the new age technology companies have come aboard. We need to have a platform for that. And that is the gap that we are trying to fulfill as a company. For us, that is a BAC, which has been there for 141 years now, to be very precise. We have been always focusing on one thing, that is ensuring that we provide a platform where we help the companies meet the investors who have the funds to contribute. That is what our biggest achievement has been, and that is what we in fact will be trying to focus on even the next few number of years to come also, definitely next 100 years also. Because that is where the entire growth pattern is going to come. Today we talk of big companies like, let's say, Infosys or Wipros or TCS or whatever be it, which you daily see it in the business news channels. Say 20 years back, all this have been small companies, of course. And now they have gained in value, they have gained in market capitalization, and they're gained in visibility, gained in transparency, only because they have been able to meet the right kind of investors who could come, invest, and take the company and make sure that the company's stake is also broadened, company's products is also broadened, and the company is able to service better. So that is where we come from, and we will try to ensure that we will expand this particular base. So on this particular base, we do have something called as a SME platform, which we call it as a Bombay Stock Exchange, BSE SME Exchange, which basically tries to help the investors who has a capital to invest in those companies who want to come and get listed. Of course, there are preset guidelines because no one can just like that come and get listed. There are a couple of guidelines which a company should follow to come and get listed. And talking of innovation, again, see, being a 140 years is very difficult. I always compare our exchange to the erstwhile Imperial Bank, which is now called as the State Bank of India. So it's very difficult to actually come and change the internal blood veins that keeps going, because you are actually engrossed into a certain type of thought. But even after being for 141 years, we are trying to innovate a lot of things within our own exchange and even our kind of an intermediaries. So even at 141 years, we will have to innovate to be there in the thick of the times, because as everyone on the panel agrees that technology is one big disruptor, positive disruptor, in fact, I could say. And we also have been trying to do that. And in fact, I would extol all the companies who are there, who are looking out for finances, who have been there for few number of years to look at for finance. One of the best options could be to come to an exchange platform and still be a promoter and do your own businesses at your best.